This episode
of the Highlight Zone
brought to you by Diet Coke.
Need a refreshing
0-calorie
refreshment?
Try Diet Coke today.
Try a 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 Diet Coke today.
That sounded way professional second thought.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of Twilight Zone reviews. A journey into a wondrous land of intoxication where a father, son, and guest drink and retell episodes of the Twilight Zone.
There is a fifth dimension.
Stay tuned because your next stop is the Highlight Zone After Hours.
The Twilight Zone.
It's that time again. I am Steve.
I'm Kelly.
We are the two hosts of the Highlight Zone After Hours, your favorite Twilight Zone drunken retelling episode on any platform.
A New Year's Eve-ish
A New Year's Eve-ish
celebration.
Absolutely. I was going to bring up the roster and go over the list of the episodes that are going to be running on Sci-fi, but they're too long and they go in order pretty much a lot of the time. So this holiday, go and watch Sci-fi and catch all of the episodes of the Twilight Zone because they'll be doing that for, I think, 48 hours. I'm pretty sure you and I will be texting nonstop, but that's not the point.
Little quips like Family Guy quips?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
No joke, exactly. There's a bunch of them. What we're here today is we are back with our Long Islands that we have brewed freshly.
Yes. No frozen ingredients
No.
except for the ice.
All right,
Except
that's
for the
true.
ice.
What we're doing today, we're going to do a real quick fun wrap up of season 2 of the Twilight Zone and season 2 of the Highlight Zone After Hours, because if you watched us last time, you'll know that we've just finished the show. Season 3 will be coming in the early, January-ish, get going. But I have put together a fun reel for everybody to watch right now of some of my really favorite video highlights of season 2 of the Highlight Zone After Hours. Here we go.
Once you've tried dark, you'll never eat shark. We show no bounds. We go where no other podcast dares to go.
We need to neutralize. I'm gonna give it to you right in the kisser.
I don't know. Kill it?
Exactly.
That's the whole point.
Hello, Kelly. Great to be here.
They went way too far on the cattle mutilation.
Like I was watching this one last night, and I fell asleep midway through.
I mean, if he had 2 of your Long Islands, he might be dreaming this shit on his own. Have you ever slept in a cot?
Yeah, I have a call upstairs.
You have a
Did we just become best friends?
Did we just become yes?
The prime mover.
Wait, so I'm not on this episode.
If I didn't see that, I would leave because I think these people are weird.
wah, wah, wah.
Can you do me a solid?
We are top in class. We are the class.
Well, that's the way it goes.
If that's what turns you on,
Come on, I love that video. That makes me laugh so hard. I'm
still laughing. I've been laughing the whole time.
That's what I'm saying. So I laugh at different parts each time, but let's go through this a little bit because besides going through like our favorite, guest appearances and stuff that we've had, do you have anything that jumps right out like this was bizarre as hell, or this one?
The Fitz episode was fun because we had other family members around us in a setting
we had
where
an audience.
We had an audience that was really fun with people that you really enjoy having with you during this. And Fitz, like we were hoping, would steal the show, and he did.
Yeah,
just his honesty, kids. And he says to this day, I am so excited. That is the greatest podcast.
Yeah, and Andy's kids watch it too, and they keep on asking when they can be on there, so they'll be on season 3 for sure. But that Fitz episode, it has the line that we always laugh at, the one, I have a cot upstairs. That's hysterical. But let's go back, and if you rewatch it, the honesty of, is he 6? He's 6, right? Yeah. The honesty of a 6-year-old when he says why he wouldn't hurt an invader is wild.
Mind all the time or the invader?
The invaders.
You'll take an invader? Why would you choose the invader?
Because you put him in a pillowcase.
And you beat him with a giant spoon
Yes.
and throw him in a box.
they're
All it
us.
takes is a wood.
I only choose because then they're really us. That's only because they're only us. That's all. I want to be stuck with somebody that read my mind. No.
Good for you.
We should just end the show now. I mean, it ended kind of the whole steam. We were all like, damn, good job. So that one made me laugh. Donnie Trump made me laugh a lot because it was the first time I had to edit in somebody coming in. That was really great.
My kids, I'll tell you what I get my kids. I get them each a golf lesson, okay? They golf as bad as Biden does. Have they won any club championships? No, they haven't.
It started technically with Andy suggesting that we flip-flop the show to do it the after hours way like this. So we have had friends from all over the place. James from my work joined us, so that one was fun. He did that on his anniversary. How funny was that?
That's crazy.
Bachelor party on our wedding.
Nice.
And my wedding was actually 4 years ago today. So my wife is letting me
And you're
do
recording
a
with us?
podcast on our wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you.
Anthony Helmer joined us, artist Anthony Helmer, and I remember one of the funny things that he said in that one is he could only have his one dirty martini because he was about to go to the gym afterwards because we were recording when it was kind of early for him.
Yeah, and I have to go easy because I'm going to be working out later. I have to go lift weights. So that's my game plan.
All right.
That one was hilarious. Mark Abramson, who joined us before, that one was before we were recording on video. There's going to be trivia about that later because there's a very similar episode to that, and that would be Andy's first episode.
I was going to comment on Andy. One of the highlights is watching him try to eat
cheese.
A slice of cheese.
Just a Velveeta cheese.
The way that cheese just goes in the mouth and falls out somewhere. It was great.
That clip I just posted, the way it goes, the prime mover.
The prime mover.
It's just so ludicrous. It's so dumb.
Andy, we love you, man. That was great. That was great.
Yeah, Mike Hunter came on, our buddy. He was the last episode that we did, and we're already trying to put it into works how we're going to do it next year because we have a lot of things coming up next year. Next year, I think we're going to try to blow this thing up. We have some projects that are going to be time-consuming and very cool. So I think if you like the Twilight Zone and you even are remotely interested in our stupid nonsense, it'll be the place to go. So I highly recommend going back and watching all of that. So,
and on one more note, if all of you could just see the background of what Steve and I are looking at every night, kudos to you, man. Steve first of all, you're that generation. Technology and stuff, you're enthused about it.
I am
You're
enthused
intrigued
about it.
by it. We are surrounded now by lighting, by a moving camera right now, these microphones. I have never, to be honest with all of you, I've never worn headphones in my whole life.
I know, and now
until we started doing this, and I love it.
yeah, and now you have these, and you have AirPods at home for the remote calls.
I do that.
Look what's happened to the show is turn you into.
I'm still the same old dick, I guess. Whatever I am, I still am.
I'm still that.
But you need to know the effort, Steve, what you've put into making this happen is so cool.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That I hope everyone else can appreciate. If you know Steve at all, he's got to have something that can take it up a notch. And I think that's what we're going to do in season 3.
Yes.
Including field operations.
There will be multiple field trips that we'll be doing next year, including some that are going to be, I'm not going to lie, maybe life risking.
They could be, as well as financially, we may have a GoFundMe site.
Now you're about. This is the other thing, is because I'm already thinking about that and how we're going to afford this shit. So anyway, if you've watched, thank you very much. We're going to go over some highlights of the Twilight Zone, and then we are going to soothe you and your friends and family with the Highlight Zone After Hours version of Goodnight Moon. That's right. We have a couple of things we're going to read out to you. Get your kids close to the fire.
Oh, this will be
turn
a
on the
touching
podcast.
moment.
Yeah, exactly. Turn on the podcast with the video on YouTube with the Yule log going.
Get the fake fire going. It's going to be great.
What is going on here? All right. So, do you have your list of favorite episodes from season 2 of the Twilight Zone up and going?
I do.
How many did you come up with? Because I came up with 6, and it was a nightmare to try to get it to 6.
I did it easier because you know how anal retentive I am on all my notes.
You do, yeah.
So I took my ratings and I went through the season and
Look at your notes. This is insane. You're like, I love this. All right, go ahead.
to find 5 that I rated a 10 on. So this made it very easy. There weren't 6.
Yep.
There weren't 4. I had 5.
Right.
Then I had some special mentions, and I do it based solely on my rating. What I've tried over the years, I try not to second guess myself. I usually go with whatever the gut tells you, trust your gut.
Right.
If you try to finesse it and change it, it just mucks up everything. So that's what I did. So I do have my list, and I have 5 that were rated 10s.
All right. See, I have the same thing, and I put those ones in order of the ones that I liked.
I didn't go that far.
Okay. So if there's one that jumps out to you as your favorite, save that for your number 1. But
okay.
So my on Steve's show, we call it a fallout, which would be an honorable mention, and mine would be, it was tied as a score with Nick of Time, which was my number 5. But my fallout one that was my number 6 was the Odyssey of Flight 33. I love that episode.
Okay. This is going to be a great discussion.
Okay. All right. Good. Of course. Well, I mean, what people are watching because it's a
I love Flight 33. If you know me, I'm the old World War II buff, right?
Right.
Because I think I lived it. In any event, I love that episode. It didn't even make my cut for honorable mention. So that means there were a lot of great episodes.
This is our point. And if you watch the last episode, one of the most iconic episodes on there, well, famous, we have dramatically different scores. All right. So then go for yours. Would you have a number 5?
All right, I'm going to start.
Yeah, do your honorable mentions.
Now, this is in no real order, as opposed to Steve that has to rate them 1 through 5. I'm going to start.
That's okay.
With the first one was The Howling Man.
All right.
That was episode 5.
Yep.
Where we got an up-close introduction to Satan.
Yep.
Caged up in an old monk's monastery.
It still gives me chills. I
love that episode. Everything about it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'll just continue on. My number 5 was Nick of Time, like I said before, the one that Mark came on to do the review for. It's William Shatner's first episode. But my number 4 is The Howling Man.
Okay.
Yep. So far, we're right on the same page.
Very good.
All right, what's your number 4?
My next was Eye of the Beholder.
All right. That will be on my list in a minute.
Okay, so classic twists, surprises, storyline hook, all of the things that make up a great shot are found in this show.
Yeah.
And I still have the pig-nosed nurse staring at me above our kitchen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
to
you
this
do.
day. It's
our
great.
tiki mugs, yeah.
So carry it on from there.
All right. I love that. So my next one would be the one that we just did but on the Mike episode, which was 100 Yards Over the Rim. That was my number 3 favorite of the one. That's the basic idea of time travel. A man walks over the hill, looks over, he's in 1961 instead of the 1800s, comes back. It's amazing. I highly recommend that you not only you watch each of these ones that we're talking about, go watch that episode that we did with Mike, because I think we did a really, really good job on that show.
This is so cool because we're picking different top 5s. So my next one is The Invaders.
All right. Okay. So
that's probably following on yours. This is where the old woman in the cabin does battle with a flying saucer that ends up being a U.S. Air Force exploratory mission. Fantastic. It's another one of those that when I think about the Twilight Zone, the original series as a kid, this is one of those few that sticks out, including the one that we just discussed last week about the real Martian.
Yeah.
This is another one of those iconic Twilight Zone episodes.
When you think of Twilight Zone, you think of kind of imagery, and that would be one of them. So I completely agree.
All right, so have we gone through 4?
Yeah. So
what's your last one?
I have 2. I have 2 left. So I'm on my number 2, and that is Eye of the Beholder, which was in my all-time Twilight Zone episode ranking. It's my number 3. And my number 1 is tied with my number 1 from season 2. So what's your next one?
My number 5 is Will the Real Martian, the one that we just
all right.
did. So you and I have comparable thoughts on this.
We do.
A couple of surprises,
however.
Do.
Yeah.
So let's go on to your honorable mentions.
Well, no, I kind of did it backwards. My honorable mention was Flight 33.
Oh, okay.
My number 1 for season 2, my number 1 is literally tied for my number 1 of all time, and that's The Invaders. The Invaders is my favorite 20 minutes of TV ever, tied with The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. I don't think there are 2 better episodes of all time. The Real Martian is definitive, perfect Twilight Zone, but it's You have to choose favorites, man. Which one would you prefer to watch more? And I just kicked the mic stand.
I forgot one. I left my fifth one out.
Okay. Yeah, I know. No, you're not done.
Okay.
You go next.
The Rip Van Winkle caper.
No, we just did that one. Yeah, that's the one with Mark did
Where
it.
the guys are in the cave
Mike
and
Hunter.
they go into suspended animation for 100 years. There were so many pieces of that I found fascinating. I love the desert. I love watching these guys doing their thing, screwing up. And then the huge twist at the end where gold has no value anymore. So that one grabbed me the first time. It grabbed me as we were watching this and presenting it. So it deserved a 10 from me.
Okay, so if you're taking notes and you're in your car watching this at home and you're watching this and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to catch these up because if there was a time to watch them, it's this weekend on Sci-Fi. New Year's Eve weekend, it's on there. So start taking notes because we just listed off about 7 different ones. Yeah. Okay, so we just went over our favorites. Do you want to know the highest rated of season 2 and the lowest?
Bring it on, man. Yeah.
Critically rated, the highest rated episode is Eye of the Beholder. It has a 9.1, which is, I think, maybe the highest rating of one of the episodes. I might be wrong, but anyway, it's a 9.1. Number 2 is Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up, which has an 8.7. Number 3 is The Obsolete Man with an 8.6.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right? Number 4 and 5 are tied. They have the exact same rating, and that is Nick of Time and The Silence. And both of those have an 8.3. Yep. So we didn't mention The Silence. Sarah would have.
They're both in my honorable mention short list.
And then the lowest rated episodes of season 2. Do you have any guesses?
I didn't do it lowest, but bring them on and I'll give you a thumbs up. I'll say whether I agreed or disagree.
So one of these ones I kind of liked, but the other ones, they kind of tracks. The lowest rated episodes all 3 of them have a 6.4, so they're all tied. And that is Mind in the Matter. The one that I did last time, I gave that a 5. Yes. The Whole Truth and The Thing About Machines, which is the one that I actually liked. I like Thing About Machines, where the shaver is charging him down the stairs, and then the car kills him somehow and gets out of the water. We don't know what the hell happened. Yeah, get out of here, Cosmo. What is it? It's not Franklin. It's
Franklin.
No, Franklin. It's not Franklin. It's get out of here.
God.
Get out of here, Oh man.
Get out of here, Finchley. Who are you to tell me to get out of here?
Oh my God, this is going to kill me. You're right. Okay, so those are the lowest rated episodes. Any big takeaways, anything this year you were blown away with? Oh my God, I had forgotten this one. 100 Yards Over the Rim. I don't think that you had watched that one before this season.
I hadn't, and I love that one. That one is at the top of my honorable mention list.
Oh, I forgot.
So
what else are on yours?
Now that I've started, my short list for those is...
By the way, his notes will be published by Pendant Publishing on hardback.
And they will have to find translators of ancient languages to read them.
Hieroglyphics. Go for it.
I had Nick of Time, A Most Unusual Camera, The Night of the Meek, the Christmas one.
Yep, those are both on the episode that we did with Anthony Helmer.
The Whole Truth, A Penny for Your Thoughts, and then my last one was tied.
The Whole Truth is what was one of the lowest ones this year rated. Yeah, but that's okay.
100 Yards again is a great one. It was there, and The Silence. So again, we're bringing up a couple that we're
we're tracking
in line with that.
All right. So I had a blast rewatching these. There were a few that popped out to me that I hadn't remembered, or at least I hadn't written down a rating.
Right.
So it was kind of cool to get into some of these episodes. Oh shit, this one is great. 100 Yards Over the Rim I had seen before, but it didn't have an impact like it did when I watched it this time. I was blown away. There was an episode that we watched that I got choked up that I didn't. Oh, it's the one where then you didn't like the episode. And I read the whole quote at the end where the guy's losing his mind, and we decided that he had dementia and he couldn't remember. That one was recently, and I was smitten with that one. So, and I don't remember loving or hating that one. So this was a great season. Let's talk about season 2 of our show. I have some trivia here. Okay. Let's see if you can remember. Do you remember the first guest host on our show when we used professional sounding audio?
No, I don't. Justin was our first.
Okay. You're kind of correct. The Justin episode, we had professional audio, but it didn't work and it collapsed at in the
That's
hotel.
Right. We had a microphone.
So we had to use a different mic, which if you go back and listen to it, I highly recommend you don't because it sounds god awful. But when we had this set up, it was Sarah. Sarah was the first guest
Okay.
when we had high def audio. So that's the first one. All right.
Kudos to you, Sarah.
Right.
Great job, by the way.
Absolutely.
Bikini Sarah in another.
And Bikini Steve, come on. Yeah.
I'm saving the best for last.
So I have a real quick story. I have a friend who is going to be joining us next year. He already told me he would. I'm going to plug him right here. His name is Kayak USA. He has 900,000 YouTube followers. He is the go-to guy.
Right behind us.
Right behind. Don't go fact check that. Just believe him. So anyway, he used to follow my old channel, and he called me. Well, he texted me really late, and I'm sorry, this is really funny, but he sends me a picture from his bed, and he goes, "What the F am I watching? Why are you in a bikini?" And I haven't talked to this guy, but it showed up on his YouTube feed, and I was like, dude, this is our thing. So anyway, that was really stupid, but a really funny, like 11 p.m. text to get. So he will be joining us next season to review one, and I'm pretty pumped about that. But anyway, here's another trivia for you. What was the first episode or host where we used the shot clock?
It wasn't that long ago. I'm going to say the last 4 or 5 series. So that'd be in the last 8 shows. Episode 20 to now. I can't remember which one it was.
Do you remember the situation? Do you remember if it was in person or if it was remote?
I remember it probably because the previous session I'd gone so far over that we decided to rein it in. Fill me in on that one.
That was with James. That was a Zoom call with James from my work, and we put the shot clock up the first time, and we did that.
That's right. I remember seeing that on the phone. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. All right. And then what guest? This is the one that took me a long time to figure this out. I'm going to give you an either that, a yes or an A or
I'm
B.
0 for 2.
Okay.
So.
Which guest's appearance required the most editing? Was it Andy or was it Mark?
It had to be Mark.
Mark beat Andy by 4 minutes of editing. So now that has nothing to do with them. No. It's just however
Don't read
long
into
it
this
went
anymore.
It was just that there was so much nonsense going on between Andy. If you go back and listen to what started the after hours, go back and listen. Andy starts the episode by talking about how they faked the moon landing. Like some of these times, these shows go way off the rails, and I really enjoy that. So we're about ready to wrap this thing up, but we're going to go into season 3 notes because I want to make sure everyone is pumped and they're following and sharing this show. Because we're different than other Twilight Zone shows, we typically cater to people that don't watch the Twilight Zone. And then when they do it with us, and they want to do it all the time. That sounded vaguely sexual. That's not what I meant. But here's what's coming in season 3. Here's just a few episodes that you may know. The Shelter, which is an incredibly realistic, tragic story. It's a Good Life, the one with Bill Mumy when he's a 6-year-old kid that he hates so much. Death's Head Revisited. Midnight Sun, which is the very first episode that I retold Lila in line at Disneyland, which kind of started me thinking that this would be a fun show. Cool. Nothing in the Dark. To Serve Man, which is arguably top 3.
Yeah.
The Dummy, which is the one I want to see if Fitz can do that one, but I don't know. Puppets are kind of freaky. And Changing of the Guard. So if you think that any of these sound interesting, just go look them up and look up their little pictures, and you'll see why these are very important episodes.
You know where to find them, don't you? In case you're interested.
No, I don't. Where would these people go?
Paramount Plus.
Paramount
is where
Plus.
You go.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry about that.
So what we're gonna do? So what we're gonna do to end this? Cheers to you, Dad. Thank you for an tether. Oh
Thank
wait,
you.
I got something else. Hold on a second. All right. So before we go on any further to do our Goodnight Moon, I have a couple of parting gifts for you because it's so much fun. This first one, since I didn't know that this was your thing. Oh. Just plain ass M&Ms.
Plain ass M&Ms are one of the best.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they
This will
have
last
these
at
things.
least a week.
I don't know. I just don't care about plain M&Ms. It's so funny that was your favorite candy.
Well, thank you.
And then hold on, we got this for you.
Oh,
yes, dude. Party Halloween,
That's awesome.
whatever it's called, had
That's
some really good. I
beautiful.
told you they have new Twilight Zone merch.
that's excellent. It's
pretty cool.
So awesome. Thank you.
And then here you go. Here's your last one, sir. Thank you again for being a part of season 2, and everybody else. This has been fun.
Thank you for letting me come back after episode 1
After
season 1.
After the pilot episode.
Yes.
This ended up being one of my favorite episodes to watch of season 2 of the show. was the trivia episode that we recorded at the cabin. And there's just a really good picture of us cracking up. I've never seen people organically laughing in the shot like that before, so I like that image. But go back and watch the trivia episode because it got cutthroat. I got yelled at for hitting him too many times.
I got beat up.
He did. I'm sorry. I'm a very animated person.
There was elder abuse going on.
Is that what this is? All right. So what we're going to do to thank everybody for season 2 is we're going to read you some Goodnight Moon written by the characters and the hosts of the Highlight Zone After Hours. So let's see here. Good night to Fitz and the cot that he has upstairs.
Good night to the slot machine that reappears in the episode 21 and keeps calling out the name Franklin. Franklin.
Okay. Good night, Bill Mooney, who will never ever be a fan of our podcast. He can't. You talk shit about this guy a lot.
But it's all done in fun.
Sorry. True. Sorry.
Good luck. Or good night. Good luck. May I play good night to the aliens whose bodies are made of cardboard boxes. I could never get over
That's
that.
also on the James episode. Oh my god, I love
And
it.
it's got to be on the the 1 minute preview of this.
Oh yeah, it's in the thing that we watched. Absolutely. You know what? Just for fun, I'm going to insert it right now.
There you go.
Okay. Ready? Back to being serious. We're talking to kids here. Okay, right? Good night, shitty VHS versions of the show.
Good night to the old Model T that makes its owner only tell the truth. I pity the poor fool.
Good night, Darren from Bewitched, and to all of your greatness.
I gotta figure out which one this is. Good night to the peddler who sells regular dirt to people who think that it's magic dirt.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
And then
sad.
I know. I have one more. Do you have another? How many do you have left?
2 more.
Okay, do one more then.
Okay. Good night to the old woman who cannot stop moaning in ecstasy while her maid
robot
gives her neck rubs the whole episode.
Just so we're clear.
It's one of Sarah's favorites.
Just so we're clear, that was Mark requested that joke. I'm so glad that you did that. I'm sorry, because Mark was freaked out when he watched that one. Okay, and then give me one more.
Good night to all of the nurses and doctors who have giant pig noses.
And my last one would be to good night to Donnie Trump, to Andy, to Justin, to Mark, to James, to Bonnie, to Fitz, to Anthony, to Mike, to Sunbathing Sarah, to Indoors Sarah. Thank you for being a part of this crazy season 2. And I'm telling you, without hyperbole, season 3 is going to be up to notch. We're leaning into this thing, buddy. So let's do it.
Thank you. And
cheers to everybody.
To all of you.
Watch these this New Year's Eve and New Year's Day weekend. Go check it out on Paramount Plus at all times. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And we thank you for being a part of this nonsense. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you in another dimension. Season 3.
Coming up.
Bye, everybody.
Nice.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Where is this place and when? The answer is it doesn't make any difference.
Can you say eggs?